Hey folks, not sure how much you can hear me over the wind blowing, but I'm actually liking the wind right now. I was going to go out to that table behind my house, the one that I built, but they were doing some, some sort of weeding work, cleaning the area up. It's an open space preserve, but they were just, kind of cutting down some of the wild bushes or something like that, trimming them back. So I decided to come out to here, which is a bit further out, and sitting on this rock here in the sun and the heat, and if you can see, I don't know. Yeah, it's just a car driving by. I guess someone came out here and was hiking around or whatever, and they decided to head out. So, geez, I hope I don't run out of power on this camera right now. But I guess this is going to serve as my 6 months update video. I'm several days past that, and I've had some really tough times as of late. I mean, if you've seen my latest videos, like I nearly relapsed, and I felt like relapsing, and then it's kind of like I've gone further down the rabbit hole. Not to the point of hopping on a porn site and like watching the stuff and rubbing my out, but basically like YouTube available materials. Even some stuff where it's literally like parts of a porn video that was edited. To the point that I could kind of slip past YouTube's regulatory measures. Because if you try to put on a full porn video, most likely your stuff would get hunted down and taken down eventually. But this stuff was kind of like the intro or the ending parts where it was like, unless you knew what you were looking for, you wouldn't necessarily think it was per se porn, but or a part of a porn video. But I haven't done anything beyond that. But it's kind of basically been skirting the edge, and the actual mechanics of the process aren't what really matters to me right now. It's more so what it says about my state of mind and where I'm at, as far as Nofap is concerned, and just life in general. And I have to be honest. I've said that I've been feeling overwhelmed in many ways emotionally. I'm not going to be here much longer. I'm thinking of leaving on the 21st to the 22nd to go back up north, which is great. And as much as that part of me wants me to go all the way and just relapse, like full-blown relapse, and have to reset my calendar and all that. I know that where I'm at right now is probably going to take me about a month to recover if I relapse, fully, and to get back on track. And the reality is, in that month's time, I'll have already had a midterm or 2 or 3 in my classes, and I can't be spending that time trying to recover from relapsing. That's just going to funk everything up, and I will end up failing those classes, and it's totally going to screw up my life at this point. So as much as I will have to recover from these slip-ups or skirting the edge, so to speak, I did have sort of a dream that kind of mimicked a wet dream, but it wasn't actually a wet dream. It was really weird, because I woke up and I thought I'd had one, from seeing all this stuff and being so agitated and such, but as it turns out, it wasn't. And I had some sort of vivid dream about nostalgic memories or so, old restaurants I had gone to, things in San Diego, and so on that had closed down. I was thinking about the past and reliving the whole experience of having to withdraw from this class at UCSD and not getting in there and whatnot. It's just always coming back here brings that kind of stuff back. Brings back those emotions and those feelings of powerlessness and just rejection and undesirability and the whole loserdom experience, and that's where I get overwhelmed. But from some of the recent comments and checking out some of the other folks' channels, there were a couple of other things I want to talk about, but I'll get to that in a moment. I'm kind of giving a recap, I think, of stuff that's happened lately. But as far as 6 months in Nofap hard mode, even with the slip-ups and the skirting the edge, I will say that there are benefits. want to kind of cover that. I definitely have a lot more mental clarity, and I really, I understand my thought processes a little better. Like, even if I'm slipping towards a relapse or going to slip up or so, like, I understand what's going on, and in many cases I've been able to reason myself out of going too far, or stopping things halfway to there and taking a step back, because it's like I understand why I'm feeling like that, why I'm wanting to go and relapse or go and skirt the edge or what have you, and that really helps. At the very least, like, I understand what to do, and I know how to talk myself through things so that I don't just go jump into that set of actions that will inevitably give me things like brain fog and anxiety and depression and so on, even though it might give me a momentary bit of pleasure, which I'm definitely feeling some of these effects of the slip-ups or skirting the edge, so to speak. But I know that if I went fully relapse and ended up binging, like, it would be bazillion times worse. So I've had to kind of loosen up my standards in a bit to sort of not be so harsh on myself because of my context that I'm in right now. It's not that I'm up north on my own in a environment where I have a lot more control and freedom and peace and quiet. I've been under a lot of pressure and stress lately, doing that temp job that I had and getting up early, being sleep deprived, being stressed out, anxious, and so on, distracted. But all that being said, the benefits are still there. Mental clarity, self-understanding, the ability to reason my way through a lot of these events, and just in general that mental strength that I've developed, that's definitely there. Negatives would probably be like maybe I'm in a flat line right now, and maybe I feel like I'm missing out on something or other, that, like, this whole idea that that PMO is all that I'm gonna really be able to experience, stuff like that ultimate pleasure, that ultimate release, that fantasy. But rationality has reigned for the most part, up to this point. So I understand that's not real and that's not true. All this being said, I'm going to move on to covering some thoughts that have come to my mind because of, like, I think Alex Ehlers or Ehlers. I mean, I know the German American last name, but some of his comments and some of his content, actually, I'd suggest checking out his channel, as well as who else? There were a few other comments I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I might be able to just mention them in their video. But Alex Ehlers really hit me pretty deep as far as his content was concerned. His comments started it, but then looking at his content and talking about feeling alienated from society and this whole struggle to live a righteous life and so on. And I've really had these thoughts come up, because of that thinking about why Nofap is such a thing to me, why PMO is such an issue to me, why I have these issues, because I've tried to live that life of a principled man, up until my age where I'm at, where I'm 30. And to see other people just kind of, screw off on the job, so to speak. And, how porn usage is so rampant and it's mainstream. And anybody who tries to not do that because they're trying to live the righteous, morally upright life, how hard things get, and how that's led me to feel so alienated from the people around me, and how so much of my frustration with life and with people and with PMO and so on, it's all sexually rooted. If I was playing by the rules, so to speak, with this idea of a dominance hierarchy, you can look up Jordan Peterson talking about that, and working on myself for 10, 20, 30 years of my life and rising to the top, getting all the resources and status, and at the end being kind of, in a sense, rewarded with the young, beautiful, virginal, pious, chaste, wife. It would all make sense. My frustrations wouldn't be there so much. Yeah, I'd definitely be horny, and I'd definitely be, in many ways at that point, kind of tired of the struggle. But I would feel like there's a point to it, you know? There would be a point to righteousness, there would be a point to going through the alienation, you know, of breaking away from the mediocrity of your average Joe. There would be a point to, you know, taking on a hard course load, you know, STEM classes and getting a STEM degree. There would be a point to putting in the 80-hour work week at a startup or at some, you know, engineering firm. There would be a point to working out, losing weight, all that kind of stuff, because at the end you'd be rewarded and the frustrations would make sense and they would have a value to them. But when you see that, you know, this is like sort of the classic dichotomy between the bad boys and the good guys or nice guys or whatever, but when you see that people are not playing by those rules that supposedly exist, where there's a dominance hierarchy amongst men, and if you know if you want to have the best chances, you need to rise in that dominance hierarchy, get those resources to get that status, work out, do all these things. You know, if people were playing by those rules, then the whole, you know, girls going for bad boys thing wouldn't exist. You wouldn't feel like, you know, you worked 30 years on yourself and now all that you get is a washed up skank who's, you know, had sex with more men than you can count, and you're supposed to feel lucky because you finally got some or whatever. All those frustrations, all that, you know, anxiety relating to that kind of stuff, all the alienation from trying to live by the rules and live the righteous life and struggle with these desires and not go down the same old PMO user path that pretty much every other guy out there goes down. You know, it wouldn't have the same effect. So I definitely understand, you know, a lot of Alex's content from what I saw, you know, and I really agree with a lot of it because I feel alienated from society. I feel alienated because I've tried to live by these morals and values that the society I've grown up in, American society in particular, Western society in general, claims to hold up. Claims to idealize, you know, hard work, you know, practical knowledge, education, being, you know, intellectual, being morally upright, you know, having control of yourself, control of your desires, being chaste, being trustworthy, all that kind of stuff. And so much of it is like wrapped up in the whole nofap path and process because, you know, we're saying no to our addiction, which is rooted in a warped desire that grew out of us attempting to contend with the anxieties and stresses and, you know, the depression in life and so on, all those negative emotions and the challenges we are facing as we go through our 20s and our 30s to get to that point where we get that sweet release, we get that sense of fulfillment that all our struggles have been for something and we've made it, you know. I don't know what to say sometimes because it just kind of seems to go on and you're just expected to contend with it because you're a man, you know. And there's a sort of double standard there. And I suppose that's why I have issues with the whole, you know, becoming alpha male deal that I see with a lot of nofappers because I feel like it's all some sort of fake game and we're just kind of like, we're like fish in a pond competing to see who's going to, you know, bite onto the bait when some of us fish already know that the bait is just at its bait and it's on a hook, and once you bite down on that worm you're going to get run through by a hook and dragged out of the water to be feasted upon, you know, by the humans who have gone fishing at that lake or you know, the ocean or so. And you know, you get shamed and attacked if you realize that and even state that out loud, that you know that it's all just some game that you're playing at, you know. It feels kind of like with Game of Thrones, you know, Jon Snow meeting Daenerys Targaryen and telling her, that the White Walkers are here, they're real, the army of the dead is real, and, you know, if we don't all band together and fight the real enemy, then we're all screwed. And Daenerys, you know, and by extension Cersei, you know, they're being merely concerned with controlling the Iron Throne when, you know, that all doesn't matter. You know, you can choose to be whatever skeleton you want to be sitting on the Iron Throne, but it's not going to matter because the real enemy is coming for us all, you know. And it kind of feels like being on Nofap. You know, if we're on Nofap, especially if we've done it for long enough, like we know the truth of it, we know the reality of PMO addiction. We know that it actually exists and it's a bad thing, and we're having to deal with the world that's telling us that it's not true, that it's not real, and that we're all zealots or nut jobs, you know, at least to some extent. But anywho, was going to express myself a little more coherently, but it's really hot out here and I'm sweating like a hog. So I'm probably going to end this video soon before my power runs out. But to kind of wrap it all up, I still deal with these benefits from being 6 months hard mode and, well, I think it's 8 months or so easy mode. They've been dulled a bit by the slip-ups and the skirting the edge, but I still definitely feel them. And I really hope to get 100% back on the path and burn my way through the negativity that, you know, the brain fog or what have you that I'm feeling right now, the kind of negative side effects, and just get back going, you know, for my school year to be starting up. So anywho, thanks for watching, and I really appreciate the likes, the comments, and the subscriptions. I just do appreciate the support, especially as of late with my downturn and my, you know, getting close to relapsing. There were a few really good comments out there. I really need to get those names down, and then I can put those in the next video for a big shout out, because I know I responded to them, but it really does help, you know, getting some sort of support out there, because a lot of times, you know, you get to that point, it kind of feels like you're alone in your struggle and the stuff that's going wrong in your life and so on. But in less than 2 weeks, I think, I'll be heading back up north, and I'll be back up there, and hopefully things will start to turn around. Yeah, that's it for me right now, folks. I'll see you around. I will upload this when I get home. Thanks again, and bye.